But all right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, guys. All right, so let's get into this. It's going to be a specific storyline, specific message. I only do these if something actually comes up into my head, and it did. It was actually the scent of gasoline, though, more so than anything. And then I had this image of somebody who was gassing up their vehicle. Seemed like it was a masculine, but it was like, when you sometimes get that one little drip of gas as you're like either taking the nozzle out of the gas tank or putting it in. It was like one little thing, and it was like it was somebody like, damn, because it just kind of like, if you get a drip, it'll like run down the edge of the car a little bit or something. But it felt like somebody was either a little bit distracted. It was like a mistake they wouldn't normally make, is how it came across to me. So I don't know if this is somebody who's like either in a hurry or if they're distracted as they're gassing up their vehicle. Now, to me, the primary focus of that thought process, that image, and that scent was like a little bit of a mistake from somebody who wouldn't normally make the mistake, but it's because they're doing preparation and there's like a lot on their mind. So that's the way I would start this. AC, Cat, Ginger, Queen Libra 76, Miss So the Peaceful Observer. So great to see everybody tonight. Okay, so we start out with a 10 of Swords. This could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. This is somebody who could be gassing up their car because they just ended something. They're done. They're leaving. And this could be somebody who's like, that's all she wrote. They're leaving the castle. They're leaving the town. They're leaving the country. They're leaving after like the final fight where I'm not doing this anymore. I'm actually gone. I'm hitting the road. I'm out. I mean, that feels very decisive, and it feels like there's a lot of emotion, but there's also a relief because it's like, I'm never going back to this place, whatever this is. Here it looks like a castle. So I'm going to say somebody is leaving the home that they used to live in. This feels like somebody had a fight with someone, and it was the final one where it's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to be with that person anymore. I'm out. We have a Girl of Wands, which would be the Page of Wands in any other deck. So it's a big ending, possibly with the person that they had been married to. She could have dark hair, doesn't have to. They could have been married for a long time. Like they got married when they were young and they've been together a long time and now it's over. This says that even when they first got married, there might have been only mild attraction at the very beginning. Now, again, these are very specific storylines, so I go with like very precisely what I see or what other images pop into my head, and we just roll with it. There could be like a location or a country involved. This could be Latin America, specifically is what I'm picking up on. This argument happens at night. They could have had like a very traditional wedding at way back in the day, but my impression is this is a couple who was married for a long time, like a cathedral wedding, possibly a Catholic wedding specifically is what I'm getting with all the candles there. Doesn't have to be, but again, I call these specific messages for a reason. We have the Magician upright and we have the Fool. Okay, so in truth, I'm not saying he wanted there to be a fight. I'm just saying, amongst the stars. Thank you, Angel. You're so sweet. Angel, thank you. I'll say hi to everybody properly at the end, but thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Sometimes my eyes catch certain little messages and I just want to say hi. But it feels as if, I'm not saying that he manufactured this fight. We're definitely going to say it's a masculine who's leaving, though. But I'm not going to say he manufactured this fight, but I'm not going to say that he didn't want there to be an ending, because the Magician and the Fool says he's wanted to leave for a long time. If it's a 10 of Swords, we know that there were already 9 swords, right? There was fight after fight, argument after argument, holding one's tongue just to keep peace. But every day it's like this connection was, like shrinking, and the decision to leave was growing. And again, we have him leaving at night. I don't think he's taken much. I think this is like a situation where he's leaving the castle behind. You can keep the castle. All I need is my suitcase anyway and my vehicle. I'm gassing up. I'm leaving. I'm finally doing the thing that I've actually been manifesting for a long time. As far as he's concerned, this is what he wants. Now, he could be a Virgo, a Gemini, or an Aries. She could have been a fire sign. Can we check in and ask, how is she handling this fight? Because right now it's very much a story of one person's perspective on leaving. How does she handle it? 9 of coins, like, cool. I get the house, I get the money, and I get to be done with you. She seems to be, at least right now, just as content with this ending. I mean, I definitely feel like this is a married couple that is parting ways after one big final upheaval. Queen of Wands upright. Okay, so frankly, she too could have been like, think I haven't been manifesting how great it would be to not be with him. Yes, I have secretly manifested a lot of that myself. I would much rather be single. I would much rather not be in this connection. Okay, so this is two people that wanted to be done with each other. She could look fantastic in reds and golds. There is a very regal, very attractive look to her. She could be somebody who, if she's in her 40s, 50s, 60s, she still looks really, really young. Very beautiful skin. I'm not going to say that there's any conniving edge, but I will say a Queen of Wands always gets what she wants. I'm not going to say that she didn't contribute intentionally to the demise of this, which is why I don't understand why they had to have like an argument, a fight that ended this. Magician sideways. Okay, these two have been not being honest with themselves or each other necessarily. Magician sideways, she certainly hasn't necessarily been 100% with him. I don't know that I think he's been 100% with her either. Maybe this is just one of those situations where, sometimes we manifest stuff from the subconscious and sometimes we do it with the conscious energy. And I'm going to say, like, maybe both of these characters had plenty of time to think in their heads how great it would be to not be in this connection anymore. And that realization inside of themselves started to manifest in subconscious things like pettiness, fights, little arguments that just kind of like kept accruing, because in truth, both of them were ready to split, but they never got to the point of having like what we would call, like, maybe an adult conversation. I'm not trying to say that they're being immature. I'm just saying this is not 100% honest. There is some trickery here, but sometimes it's just the self trickery, when we're done with something inside. So now we're finding fault with it. Yeah, we got a 5 of Cups sideways. There could have been some fake tears, some fake outrage that they both, acted like, this is like when two people get, I, fake outrage is one of those things that it's always a bit silly, because it's like pretending to be so wounded when in fact you don't really give a crap, but you can act like somebody's done something, given you a mortal wound, when really you couldn't care less. I feel like they both did a little bit of that with each other, and maybe that's why it ended up as a 10 of Swords, because it's like this is a story. I'm sorry, I know it's a little bit tough perhaps, but this is a story of two people who they chipped away at this because they both wanted out, and they found a way to chip away at it with a subconscious intention, if that makes any sense. Okay, so good. They're done with each other. It doesn't matter that it kind of ended bad. I think I have either my hair or a piece of Aries fur somewhere floating through the air. Just got stuck to my chapstick. 5 of Coins. I don't think that this is a bad thing that they leave or walk away from this. However, I don't think that after this initial fight and this initial separation that it's going to be exactly smooth sailing either. We definitely have, both people are probably going to start to want to fight over money in this one, because they're both saying, well, what am I going to be left with? He just said, I don't care, keep the castle. She said, I'm going to be great, be single. I dig this. He's leaving. But then the reality of it is both of them could end up, by the light of morning, they could start to have some different, like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have walked away from quite so much. Maybe I'm entitled to keep some of this. Maybe even though I want to be single and I definitely don't want him back, maybe I should get a little bit of support here or there. So they will likely start to cry foul just a little bit. That's, I don't think that that's a hard thing to imagine, because I think that happens a lot. Death card. On the other hand, if they're wise and if they really like mean it, even though the temptation is going to be there, at least by morning, they may decide, you know what, honestly, I just really want to be done with this. I don't want to drag it out. I don't want to go and waste money on lawyers and fighting over pennies and make each other's lives miserable. Honestly, maybe we can just let this whole thing go. If they can, embrace that, the fact that this is such a relief that they're both out of this, and it may well be that way, or it could just be one person feels that way and the other one is going to try to be a little bit greedy. I kind of think one person, this is like waving the white flag. I don't care. Take it. I just want to be done with you. I don't care. Just let me go. Just no, I don't want to face you. I don't want to go to court with you. Have it. Just keep it. I don't care. I just want my freedom. I don't know who this is because we can't see their face, but one person might decide that they want to be a little greedy and the other one decides, I don't care as long as we're done. Ideally, both of them would do that and not try to make it more difficult. But obviously, we got to go with what the cards say. So it does look like one person might decide maybe I can get a little bit more, and the other person is probably just going to sign off on all of it. I don't care. I'm guessing it's probably going to be him who says, I already took what I needed in my backpack. I got a tank of gas. I'm good. Keep it. Wave the white flag as long as I don't have to deal with you anymore. I know it sounds really rude, but obviously these two, it's refreshing for them to get out of each other's energy. They really are done. And we start out with our lead character who he's the one who's really done. So since it is his story primarily in this, I just wanted to check and see how she was. She's just as content, which is awesome. But if he is the one who's actually leaving, and I feel like this is very much like I said, it happens overnight. He's done. He's good to go. It's over. And for him, it's like really over. When we got that death card and he's willing to surrender whatever he has to just so he can get gone and stay gone and not want to deal with her anymore or not deal with the connection anymore, I would say that it's very thorough. So where are you going? Okay, so we can confirm that this is him because we got the death card twice. Scorpio, Scorpio. He could be going to a Scorpio. He could be, you notice that, this is Year of the Snake, and obviously a serpent is usually associated with the death card. Here in particular, he's shedding an old skin, an old life, changing everything, but bone deep, carved right into the kind of like where the third eye would be. His third eye is awakened. Okay, so he has a very clear intuition of where he should be. He's drawn to something specific. Maybe he's drawn to a Scorpio, but he is drawn very specifically to a different life. Very different. This is him leaving, getting out of town, going someplace different. When you shed an old skin, you shed, in this case, possibly shedding his old energy, leaving town, leaving obviously a title, like he's no longer Mr. or Mrs., whomever he was married to. But this is him choosing to become a King of Wands. Now, before he would have been married to her and she was a Queen of Wands. So I don't know, maybe I should say this is what he's leaving behind, but maybe this is what he's changing. Maybe he's not going to be a King of Wands anymore. Well, he's definitely divorcing because we have the Hierophant in the reverse. Okay, so is that it? Is that step one? It's like, I'm divorced. I was a King of Wands for a long time. That was my identity. But now I'm a divorced King of Wands. Maybe. Let me see. Then what are you morphing into? Okay, so we have the Mastery of Coins, which would normally be a King of Pentacles, but they did put a feminine on it and it's sideways. Keep in mind, what I'm trying to figure out is his intuition is here, and it's maybe this is the thing that's going to drive him forward. He knows it's time to change everything, which he's clearly doing. But is he becoming a King of Pentacles? Somebody have a toad. I just saw a toad today. So cute. We have a Three of Cups. Sorry, I just said that because there's this little adorable toad right here, and it's so funny because I've never noticed it, but probably because I just saw one today. I like frogs. Hate snakes, but Really like froggies. I don't really want to touch them, but I think they're adorable. They don't instill fear in me, so like snakes do. But this feels like he's got somebody that he's got on his mind, or he's thinking about dating all kinds of ladies. I don't think so, though. I think with the Three of Cups, and we have the eye up above here as well. There's something about eye contact. There's something about a specific, both times the eye has been hidden, right? It's here up in the sky that you almost wouldn't notice. It's here bone deep level that you'd only find on the skull, so it's not really visible. So I'm going to say that he's had an inner vision of where he belongs that's he's never shown to anybody else. Almost like he's got a secret is what I would say. Now the secret could be either someone that he actually wishes to connect to and he wishes to be their king. That's why he's thinking about becoming a king of pentacles. Like he would be a mate or a match for someone else, possibly an earth sign. Or it is simply like he wants to change something about his whole life. He wants to change or, create the persona he's always wanted to be. Like maybe he's been living a lie. Maybe this isn't who he really is. Maybe he wants to change something about, himself. Nine of Cups in the reverse. He's definitely been unhappy, desperately unhappy, and has not maybe told anyone that. There may be someone out there that he would like to be able to say that to. The Wanderer. There's Aries energy. This is about the desire for great freedom, the need for great freedom. Right now, I'm thinking that there is a person who he sees as very free and very, exciting. And it may be that he wants to connect to her. He wants to live more like her. Maybe that's why he's so willing to just have nothing but a backpack. Maybe his life has been very confined, obviously confined with the wrong partner. There could be a kind of like a, stay wild, moonchild kind of free spirited Aries, possibly divine feminine, that he would like to be with, somebody that represents a breath of fresh air to him. Let me see. Is that it? Has he secretly always wanted to be able to be free to just make okay, I'm going to double down on that message. The idea of getting in a car and driving and starting your life over is something that I'm going to say some other feminine that he has met has done exactly that in her lifetime. That may have really impressed him. That may have been something that secretly it was like, oh my God, to be able to do that. I've been married since I was young. I never once had a chance to just randomly explore. I never once filled my car with gas, didn't really know where I wanted to go other than I vaguely wanted to try living in some other, environment. And then I meet this feminine and she's done that. She's listened only to the flow of the cosmos. Literally, her car license plate says cosmic. She could be an Aries or a Cancerian because this is the Chariot. She may have told him some stories about, just randomly taking a drive someplace where it's really great sky watching. She may have told him stories about, taking hikes, going to the top of mountains, just doing whatever she chose to do. And that sense of freedom could be something that deep down, it is their greatest wish. It has always been the life that they secretly wanted. And instead, they've kind of had a pretty miserable run of things, being with the partner that wasn't right for them, but being highly committed to something they didn't want to be committed to. I keep feeling like, okay, it's very easy to romanticize this life. I just go wherever I want, whenever I want. I mean, that comes with a measure of instability. On the other hand, if you're a stable person who can travel, move, change your life, revamp your life, and then create stability for yourself all over again. I mean, that's basically what life is, right? We all think that we have stability, and then in truth, we're very dynamic, right? Everything about us is changing and growing all the time. The planet that we're on is not stationary, it is rotating. So it's really an illusion to think that we're not dynamic. Every single one of us is. But again, lots of humans tend to want, something that they can rely on. But to be able to travel and have a sense of freedom doesn't necessarily mean that you're not stable or that you don't have like a home base or that you aren't someone who can travel and create roots quite easily. It all depends on what your vision, I suppose, is of what are roots and what is stability. And I'm thinking though that he's met someone who obviously has a sense of responsibility, but also a huge sense of conviction and determination and drive and personal power, coupled with this huge adventurer spirit. That's who he either was very inspired by, or that is someone that he wants to. He's certainly thinking about connecting to her. He's certainly thinking about it, especially with that Three of Cups. I don't know if it's just to say, hey, do you remember me? I'm the one that you kind of told some of your life stories to, and God, it inspired me. Well, I just filled my car with a tank of gas, and I've got a suitcase, and I'm on my way on my own adventure. Right? This is like the fools have met each other. And I don't mean fools like foolish. I'm talking the adventurers, the ability to start life over from ground zero and just build. I feel like he's needed that. He's needed to do that at least once in his life, and he never got to. He's doing it now. Now he wants to tell her, and we definitely have this dark-haired woman. She could be quite a little animal, and I say that 'cause she's got like little animal horns. She could be somebody because her car has like cosmic. She could be an astrologer. She could be somebody who trusts her intuition combined with what the connection to the stars are, combined with the seasonal changes, like maybe certain things like Beltane festivals and things like that. Like she follows certain like a lot of the, how do I want to say this, like the natural world that a lot of our ancestors actually paid attention to, because they were closer to the earth, right? Before we had entertainment, before we had TVs, they sat around and they talked about stories about the stars, and they also paid close attention to nature, and they celebrated different timelines in nature. I mean, most all of our moons, at least if you're in like the United States, most of the names of our full moons all come from the Native American populations that were so connected to the earth, and they named most of our moons based off of what they saw happening at the time. That's why I love the old Farmer's Almanac when I read up about the moon cycles and such, because it comes from, there's a lot more to it, right? It was observations. It's when the sturgeon are most visible or easiest to catch. It's when the certain beetles are seen in the trees. There's a lot of different extra information if you read about what our ancestors knew before we got kind of busy with the television set. And I think she might be a little more connected to that. When I say she might be a little more animal, what I'm saying is she might, because of those deer horns, I'm thinking that maybe she celebrates things like Beltane, like, some of the festivals that were connected to the natural world, and even the plant life and the animal life, the things that our ancestors paid attention to and knew that we were a part of that too. I kind of feel like that's her. Maybe that's where some of that wild, amazing, powerful streak comes from in her, that he's been so drawn to. That would explain why it's like bone deep, because I think every human really has a need for a sense of freedom. It's kind of like built into us, I think, just like it is in any creature. I mean, what bird doesn't want to fly through the sky? What human doesn't want to have the freedom to choose where they want to be, where they want to live, what style of life they want to live, who they want to express themselves as? Like, that's just a natural part of us. But I'm thinking he never got to do any of that. We have a 9 of Wands. I can see why he might be reaching out to her. It could be for a little bit of, maybe he doesn't know it's for a little bit of guidance, but it could also be, can I come stay with you for a little bit? Now, I don't know if she's a love interest or if he wants her to be a love interest, but this is almost like he's leaving, he's driving. I don't even know if he understands that he'd like to crash at her house, right? So tell me, do you think it'd be all right if I could just crash here tonight? So you can see I'm no shape for driving, and anywhere I got no place to go. Hey, jealousy, right? Gin blossoms. We've got the nurturer of coins, pentacles now, along with the 5 of cups. Okay, this could very much be somebody from his past, somebody who He didn't take the path that led him to her once upon a time. He, maybe because he was already in that connection. It said he married young. He was married to a Queen of Wands young. Maybe there was no option for him to change his mind because he was already deeply invested with the Queen of Wands, even if it was always the wrong connection. So then you meet her later on in life, and that's not an option for you. Not unless you end things and you are free and you are choosing a new path. And I'm thinking that's why he's reaching out to her now. Clearly, she represents the life that he was so inspired by. Clearly, she represents something that he needed to capture in his own life. But now it hints that they had some kind of a connection. Like, she was very much obviously somebody that represented the life he could have lived and the partner he could have lived it with. There was some kind of real sorrow here, but I feel like the sorrow was for both of them. It's almost like, damn, in another life, it could have been us. But you're wrapped up in that, and I live a very different quality life than you anyway. Probably you wouldn't want to be, a free, not even a free spirit, because I don't really want to say it that way, because that has different connotations. Sometimes free spirit is, people then translate that to like flaky, or, just does whatever they want without any thought for tomorrow. You don't ride in a chariot and not have a thought for tomorrow. This is actually a very bold person, brave enough to do what their instinct and intuition tells her to do. She is not flaky, and that does need to be said. She's free. She's independent. She's an independent thinker. She does what's authentic for herself, and you probably couldn't force her to get married to somebody and stay married if she didn't like it. She would probably, be ready to go, and who cares who doesn't like her choices. That's what I mean when I say free. He might have had to work up to the point of being able to think that, hey, this is my life. I'm the person who should choose what I want. So I'm thinking once upon a time he met her, and it was like, if we were in another life, God, the life I could have had with you instead. And I think it was kind of sad for both of them that not in the cards for us though, huh? Not if you were a King of Wands with a Queen of Wands. Because now we have a perfectly matched pair. And on this, we have actually opposites, right? This is the Queen of Pentacles card, but they put a masculine. This is the King, but they put a feminine. So again, I never care how characters show up gender-wise, but I do think that this is interesting. When he was with the Queen of Wands, he was playing the role of, a king, and literally we saw a masculine on the King card. With her, it is a reversed role. Still a perfectly matched role, but reversed. And all I mean by that is, if the moon is the energy of the feminine, which is a gravitational pull and the nurturing, and then the masculine is the energy of the sun, it's as if she plays more the role of the sun. She projects outward. She, makes decisions and goes with it. And that would make sense. And then he's been almost wanting to kind of get into her orbit. How our moon orbits us, right? It's like he wants to be in her orbit. But both of them, I feel like she played a really big role, very impactful for him. We have a Messenger of Wands. He's definitely reaching out to her to tell her, I'm single, I'm free, I left. We have an Eight of Cups. And I feel like whether he's going to admit it to himself or not, I think he's calling her late at night. I think I don't think it necessarily matters to him whether it's day or nighttime. We show the sun and the moon. I think for him, even if it's 3:30 in the morning, this is the day my life begins. So it's like a new day for me. It's like it's sunshine. But I think it's actually late at night when he sends this message to her, calls her, reaches out to her to tell her, I left, I'm single. I do think he's, in a roundabout way, asking, I'm on this road trip, wondering if I could stop by and see you in a day or two. I do think it's going to be that, because we see the steps, so it would be a step by step. She could live someplace where there either are ruins or there's, to me, this kind of is reminiscent of like maybe Tulum, Mexico. Doesn't have to be, but we definitely see some kind of a temple. Temple, so also just mean the innermost self to me. It could be springtime. We see almost like maybe phlox here, the really, really bright pink springtime flowers that you see, which are kind of sharp and pokey, but they're real pretty when they bloom. And we have the Magician again. What is this, 3 times now on the Magician, and twice on the Fool? So we've got some serious cosmic energy in all of this, right? We've got the vibe of, like I'm manifesting and I'm finally listening to my head and my heart. I'm finally listening to where I'm really supposed to be. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to also listen to what my soul says, which is pick up the phone and call her. Tell her that you're single. Tell her that, you made the choice that you needed to make, and then see what happens from there. I definitely feel like he has this need to tell her. Maybe because he's like, I want her to know that I became a, whatever, a wildflower in the wind also. I'm a wish puffer. I always call those dandelion, when they get all puffy, I always call them wish puffers. Aries likes to eat those, by the way. He eats all my wishes. If I hold them in my hand, he jumps up and chomps, and away they go. So they're all Aries wishes. But I feel like I'm picturing that. Like he's saying, like, I've learned how to set myself free also. Specifically from the Queen of Wands. If she may ask him, what about the Queen of Wands? And it's like, trust me, she's glad I'm gone. She's Phoenix rising from the ashes. She didn't want to be with me either. I definitely can see him saying, like, I did the right thing for both of us. I left. She's completely content with me being gone. If this feminine, will say I'm still going to call her like our wild child feminine. If she asks, I could see her asking about the Queen of Wands. What do you mean you're single? What do you mean? I thought you were married. Well, okay, so you're done with her. Is she done with you? I could see her checking in to ask that, before she either invites him to come and visit or says, well, where are you driving to now that you are a single individual who is going to be divorcing? It's kind of like, is your wife or ex-wife going to come looking for you? Because I'm not going to invite you to swing by my house if that's the case. Yeah, it's definitely to establish there is no other confusion here. There is no entanglement here. This is the 8 of Swords in the reverse. So we can definitely see our wild child, earth energy person asking the pertinent questions. Very blunt, very straightforward also. Okay, then why are you asking that? What do you want out of this? Are you going to invite him? I mean, I don't know that he's asking specifically, now can I get with you? I think it's more like, I'm traveling, can I come and see you? I'm single, I've left a bunch of stuff behind. And that certainly opens up honest dialogue. Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Pentacles. It's definitely, there's that car. There's a wheel. There's the new beginning. So she is specifically, she may not be asking bluntly, like, are you coming to see me because you're trying to get with me because you want to have a 10 of Pentacles with me? Or are you running away from your wife temporarily? I mean, I don't think she's going to put it in that context, but essentially that's what we're trying to establish. At least that's what I think she's trying to establish. Are you telling me that your life has changed and I'm the person that you're thinking of because you see me as my lifestyle, the way I do things? That's something you want to try being a part of. And now you finally can do that. I mean, essentially that is her line of questioning, even if she doesn't say it in so many words. Is that what's happening? Let's be super real, because we know he's headed her way. The Chariot. Yes, as I said before, he is now a dandelion in the wind also. Just like She was the Fool card in the Chariot. He now is the Fool card in the Chariot. He is matching his energy to hers with decisiveness, with certainty. I am more like you now. I make decisions that come from my heart space. I make the decisions that are true for myself, and then I follow through with that. That's what he's saying, matching her in the Chariot. I make my own choices, finally. It took him maybe quite a few years to get here to be able to do that. But that's what this story is about, is in this case anyway. Again, a lot of this stuff is sorted out like just one night. These decisions are made at nighttime, overnight, and it's like that could be very symbolic also, though, just because it's like, the dark night of the soul kind of stuff. It's got to end at some point. We've been grappling in the dark for a while, trying to figure out when to make a decision, how to make a decision, and then one day a character just does, and then it's like dawn comes right after that. But I'm still going to stick with the specifics of this, that there's a lot of like traveling in the nighttime, gassing up the car in the nighttime, making a phone call in the nighttime, having a conversation in the nighttime. But then after that, it's very symbolic that it's like they meet in the day. And I do think it's about like, this is the new beginning. This is the new dawning day. She, as an earth sign, may live in a valley with a really tall mountain around her somewhere. Somebody could have like an older vehicle, older truck. That would probably be his, though, not hers. It could be a blue truck. It could have been a gift from someone. It could have been an inherited vehicle. Also, it could be something that's actually like a classic or something like that he drives. But that was probably the vehicle that he was gassing up, specifically putting the gas in the tank to ride his chariot toward her. Also, this always looks like a Hobbit door. So I don't know if somebody is really into the Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien, but we certainly see a lot of continuity in this. A lot of he left the wrong partnership that didn't want him either, in order to finally listen to the truth of who he is. I mean, like, everybody can find themselves living in a life that doesn't suit us, right? Anybody who's ever taken on a job because they had to, not necessarily because it was, their true life path or what they wanted, but they needed to pay their bills. Like, we've all worked in industries, lived in towns that we didn't really like. Sometimes we found ourselves in relationships that we got finagled into, pushed into, accidentally found ourselves in because we weren't, like our strongest self at the moment. Like, lots of times we find ourselves in lives that don't really fit our most authentic self because of circumstances. And then it's maybe that's what everyone's like, epic journey is through life, is to figure out, first off, wait, who am I really, and where do I really belong? What town do I really love living in? What work do I really love doing? And then we figure out, and then what partner would I really match the best with once I figure out what really is, what do I really value and what do I really want versus what have I been settling for, or what have I been saying, well, you have to do this because it pays the bills, or you have to acquiesce to things because, hey, in life we don't always get what we want. And some of that's true, but always within reason, right? If we just suck it up and say, well, I guess I'm here to be miserable, I don't think that's true either. I think it's a good thing to sometimes not always get our way. It's even a good thing to find ourselves in situations that we're like, this really isn't fun. I really don't like this. I think I'm going to strive to do more. That's what motivates us sometimes to work a little harder and, stand up for ourselves and make change in our lives, is when we're uncomfortable. So I don't think discomfort is a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing. But this storyline, he had a lot of discomfort for a really long time, but that ultimately was his motive to make some change. So anyway, I'm going to leave that one there. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Really good to see everybody. Hey. Ginger, hey. Who that? Nice to catch you. Hi, Karen Bishop. Joseph Weisman, thank you, love. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Thank you, Decoded. Yes, yes, it was a little crowded, wasn't it? Cool. That's awesome. Queen Libra 76. That's awesome. Hey, Don G. April O'Neil, wonderful to see you. Hi, T.A. Kale. I agree with you. Happiness is priceless. I had a very happy day. You can tell by my hair. I have obviously been out in the bushes, in the garden. I am a disaster right now, but I got so much done before the rains come. I am so happy. Oh my gosh, but I am like trashed. I am filthy. I am my hair. You can always tell if I've been outside for a bit because I probably have bushes and such in there too. But anyway, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I'm still going to do one or two other videos on the other channel before I call it a night because I don't know, I just feel relaxed and it's like it's nice to unwind with some storytelling. Moonlight Shadow, wonderful to see you. Yes, and Aries truly does, Moonlight Shadow. He, in fact, that I will. I have a little video clip of Aries chomping my little wish puffers. I think I made that little clip available in the members corner, but I'll make it public and you can see what I'm talking about. And it was actually at nighttime too. It was a couple of years back when that little clip was taken. But oh, Shell, thank you, honey. So good to see you. Hi, Mon. Good morning to you as well, my dear. Things that make you go, hmm. Love it, Ginger. Love that song. Thank you, everybody. Hi, Tech Ellis. Wonderful to see you. Oh, Karen Bishop, that's another great song. Born to be Wild. Yes. Are you going my way? Love that one too, T.A. Kale. I love that. I love that you guys all love music as much as I do too. Wendy E, wonderful to see you, beautiful. Calm C, hey, hey. Polka Dot Suzanne, so glad to see you, love. I hope you're doing great. Dwayne Anderson's in the house. Hi. I almost never catch you in a live, Dwayne. Travis Rhodes, Alana Williams. I will definitely, Alana, I will give Aries some pets. He is down for the count. He is so tired tonight because he was busy chasing hawks and ravens across the sky all the while I was outside today. And oh my gosh, he got his little herding dog yips on today for sure. Hi, Thanya. Thank you, love. You sweetheart. Slave Princess, wonderful to see you. Eliana, hi, honey. Oh my gosh, Slave Princess, I'm so sorry. Oh no, your baby distracted you a little bit. I have done the same thing. Not in a while, but I have definitely done that where it was filling. Actually, I also had I was pumping gas. I hate pumping gas, by the way. I am such a prima donna. I do not enjoy it at all. I wish anybody would do it for me. I'm a mess with it, but somebody had it still clicked. You know how you can set it so that it's going to pump the gas immediately, and I didn't realize that. And I mean, it was like it went everywhere. It was all over my car. It was a mess. That was a long time ago, but I will never forget how bad it smelled. Butterfly Catnip Queen, wonderful to see you. Hi, Pam Jam. Shout out to you in Texas, love. Annette Summersby, hi. So glad you're here. Hi, Kins. Hey, hey. AC, you were first in the house. Kat, right back to you, honey. Lots of love. Thank you, guys. Good to see everybody. And amongst the stars, thank you again. You had a healer Dane mix. Oh my gosh. Like a healer and a Great Dane? Oh my gosh. That would have been like, that'd be like having the world's smartest horse living in your house. That's amazing. Pam Jam. That is the greatest compliment of all time. I am the Morgan Freeman to your life stories. I cannot thank you enough. That is the greatest compliment. I love Morgan Freeman. Love Morgan Freeman. I know who doesn't, right? But he's like such a national treasure, but his voice is so incredible. So thank you. I don't deserve to be placed beside him. I know I do not, but I'm still going to take that compliment and run with it because that is like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Thank you. You guys, thank you again. Neandria Rini, Listen to your heart, Roxette. I haven't listened to Roxette in so long. Love Roxette. Donji, I love that. A side ponytail for your hair. I love it. You know what? Actually, I had one of my sisters used to do that a lot. It looked adorable on her. It looks ridiculous on me, unfortunately. But some people, I just think they look so good. It's attractive. It's cute. Like the little side buns too, where it's just like one little like bun hovering off to one side. I always think that looks really great on people too. And I so wish I could wear that. It just doesn't work on me. I love that. All right, you guys, take care. Who that? Right back to you, love. Thank you. Miss So the Peaceful Observer. That's so sweet that you do that for your mom. That's awesome. Decoded, thank you. All right, you guys, take care. I will see you back on the other channel. We'll do a couple of the different zodiacs. I'll probably do just a couple until it's like really, really bedtime. Dwayne Anderson, thank you so much for popping by tonight. Dwayne, it's so great to catch you. All right, you guys, I hope everybody's having a great start to their day or a great evening if you're about to say goodnight. But if you are staying up late or if you're looking for just hanging out, I will see you guys over on the other channel in just a minute. All right, bye, guys. Bye.